Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Dumb people, liberal people. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? Whole life, what am I going to do? Whole life, what am I going to do? I'm going to say I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. In the history of politics. In the history of politics. In the whole life, what am I going to do? I'm going to say I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? And he's like this, and we will. I need water. Help me. I need water. Help. And this is on live television.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent like hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
For
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know what the problem is though? It's definitely not me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everybody else.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. 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 That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. 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 That retweet. 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 That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. 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 That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. I'll put it out there. Retweet. I'll put it out there. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody.
No good. No good.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Antifa exists.
8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese. A real beautiful company.
You're dying. That's true. And it is what it is. 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 You're dying. That's true. And you're dying. They're dying. 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 They're dying. 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 That you're dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
Hello, you
losers, and welcome to a hot, spanking, and I cannot emphasize that enough, episode of Above It All. This is the part where, even though the show is, I've been setting up for the last 4 minutes, I have to make micro adjustments to the camera angle. This is always the thing that I do at the start. For those of you that are audio podcast listeners, this does not matter to you. I'm currently wasting your time. Maybe you should watch the live stream instead. Just throwing that out there. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. And I'm just throwing that out there. It was an opinion of somebody. So if you want to watch the live stream, you're welcome to. If you're watching the live stream and you want to listen to the audio version of the show, you also are allowed to do that. I give you permission. If you want to do both, that is also. Now, again, doing both is going to be, it's going to be rough, but if you want to do both, it's definitely very capable. So, this is the part of the broadcast where I say hello to everyone in the chat room. And, so Yo Soy Danny is first today. That's correct. I'm going to start a new thing where if you're, first, 3 times in a row, then, you win something. Maybe I'll do that. So, Yo Soy Danny is first today. Let's see if someone can break that tomorrow. Who's going to be first tomorrow? New game. If you win first in the chat room 3 times in a row, you will get something. I don't know what it is yet, but it's something, okay? We got Bob coming in at a hot number 2 spot. Unknown story. Bleah. We have I Am Sudan, back from a vacation of some kind. We have a nameless individual, potentially Dev J. We have Mr. Freak Glitcher. We have Silver Moon. We have got Jacob Barr. And Bodan. We got Bodan coming at us live. Can I be late for at least a minute once? No. I have only been late a couple times, and it's only I think my first live stream, I started it at 2 p.m. or something, and I think the day after the election or whatever, I started it at 2 p.m. But no, I try to do this at 10. It gets me up in the morning. If I could just tell myself, well, I'll do the stream late today, I would just sleep until 3 p.m. every single day. So, throwing that out there. Hello, Nick Wash. Trump might just overturn the election after all. I am not so sure about that. By the way, I got your email, Nick. I did not respond because I'm a horrible person, and I hope you don't hate me. But I'm responding here because I just remembered I forgot to respond. I am very interested in what you have to offer, but I have no money to pay you for anything at this current moment. So I appreciate that you're offering services to me, but I don't have that kind of money. I am not a professional YouTuber. I don't have, I only have $100 in my account. So, sorry. Maybe if I ever make it big, right, I'll keep your name, right? So you're good. But I'm just throwing that out there. And I don't know if I feel comfortable accepting free, what is it, graphical services and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. Bodan says, I hope I'd be on time and turned on the stream and you are already talking. So you got to get here sooner. You got to just tell yourself the show starts at 9:55. The show does not start at 10. The show starts at 9:55. I'm trying to start the stream at 9:55 and then do the intro and then have the intro be done at 10. So yeah. Oh shit, the mirror is visible. That's a good point. You can see my setup in the mirror. Oh god, that's me. Wait. Can I somehow... There we go. See? There we go. But yes, that's me. You can currently see the back of my head in the mirror. That's what the back of my head looks like. There you go. See? That's true. That's me. All right. Hello, Jacobson. Welcome to the broadcast. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're obviously a liberal returning from brunch. Imagine a late brunch at that. Imagine finishing up brunch at 10 a.m. You're supposed to be on your 3rd brunch by 10 a.m., to be honest. It's not a shadow figure copying my every movement. That's very possible. But as you can see, this is my camera. As you can see in the thing, you can see my camera. I don't know. Anyway, Let's get on with the program here. I'm doing like 10 minutes of fucking, like 5 minutes of fucking whatever the hell. Nothing of information has been given. There's no information here. I've got nothing. In other words, this is a useless show. If you wanted to watch this show to learn something, you won't. I can assure you that. You will not learn a single thing. And with that being said, let's get into our first story. So, GOP Senator Kelly Leffler accused of violating ethics rules with a fundraising pitch. Busted, everybody. Busted. So, this is today's, I guess, episode of the Daily Dullard. So, again, there's very few ethics rules when it comes to being a senator or in Congress. There's very few when it comes to that stuff. And somehow the GOP and the Democrats, for that, like, somehow these politicians are able to fuck up the easiest layup in history. Like, the people that came into Congress, the people that came into the Senate, like, and everything before them, they rewrote all the rules to make their jobs a lot easier, right? To make the jobs of the next generation of corrupt politicians way easier. Yet, somehow, they're still managing to fuck it up. So, Senator Kelly Leffler, that's how it's pronounced according to reports, drew backlash on Wednesday for soliciting campaign funds while speaking in the halls of Congress, a potential violation of Senate ethics rules, during an interview with Fox News. Leffler, who will face off against Democrat Raphael Warnock in a runoff election in January, warned Georgia conservatives that hundreds of millions of dark liberal money is pouring into our state. Yes, the money is so dark, almost as dark as her opponent, she's trying to say. She's trying to get that message across. That's why it's so important that everyone across the country get involved, Leffler told Fox News, with the pillars of the Russell Senate office building appearing behind her. The pillars. Look at these fucking cringy pillars, by the way. They can visit kellyforsenate.com to chip in $5 or $10 and get involved or volunteer. Wow, that's amazing. I will definitely volunteer. This is something, here's an idea, and I'm just throwing this out there. This is just a retweet. This is a retweet. This is an opinion of somebody. This is an opinion of somebody, and this is a retweet. I'm throwing this out there.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody.
We should all volunteer for right-wing Senate campaigns and then fuck everything up. Like, how come people don't do that? I mean, they do. I remember they did that with the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020, as a lot of people came into the Bernie Sanders campaign who did not like Bernie, ostensibly to fuck everything up. Why don't we do that with Kelly Leffler? Go to her website. Go to her website. Become a volunteer, right? Go start phone banking, and then call up random people and then say that, like, Kelly Leffler's a racist or something. I don't know. Like, that sounds like fun to me. It's not illegal, right? It's just like you're just going to fuck around and they're going to find out. That sounds great. Anyway, so definitely go do that. The Democratic Party, or rather, the Senate's rules and standards of conduct for campaign activity prohibit Senate members and staff from receiving or soliciting campaign contributions in any federal building. The Democratic Party of Georgia announced Thursday that it is filing a complaint against Leffler with the Senate Ethics Committee and will request that the Justice Department investigate the matter. Leffler has once again chosen to use her position of power for personal and political advantage by illegally asking for donations on national television while on federal property, Scott Hogan, executive director of the Democratic Party of Georgia, said in a statement. She broke not only Senate rules, but also federal law and order, right? And we've filed these complaints to ensure that she is held accountable for her actions, right? And you can read the rest of this article if you want, but I don't want to, so I'm turning it off. But again, this is a great idea. In 2022, when Trump is gone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign up to volunteer for every right-wing campaign, because by 2022, we'll be 2 years into the Biden term. I think libertarians are going to have a resurgence in 2022. So what I want to do is I want to call up a bunch of libertarians, ostensibly phone banking for a GOP senator, and just debate them. You know, like, what the first rule of phone banking for political candidates is to be as quick as possible. You want to hit as many different people as possible. I'm going to violate that rule. I'm going to try to stay as long on the line as possible and debate a bunch of fucking rednecks about who are, like, you know, Joe Jorgensen 4.0 is or whatever at that point. That sounds like a lot of fun. But anyway, enough about debating libertarians. This is just really funny. Again, there's very few laws, there's very few orders that prohibit Senate behavior. They can pretty much do whatever they want. And somehow, these fuckers are dumb enough to fall for it every single time. So, hopefully they throw the book at this bitch. Just because, you know, she's a Republican and therefore I don't care what happens to her. Don't care. I'm sorry. Just don't give a fuck. But, sign up for Tom Tillis. I'm afraid that ship has sailed. But Richard Burr, I'm coming after you, buddy. 2022, you bet your sweet bippy you're on my radar. Also, thank you for the money, Satanic Panic. 99 cents. What's poppin'? Hello, Fun Police. Hello, Ruth Bergie. What is pop-a-loppin'? That's what I say when I want to sound cool. I say pop-a-loppin'. Right? Because then it's like, oh, this person is cultured. They're eccentric. You know, like, it gives off a vibe of, like, you know, I'm interesting as a person. You want to keep listening. Oh, this person just said pop-a-loppin' on a live stream. What could possibly happen next, right? That's kind of the idea here. Jesus Christ. Oh. God, it's so cold lately. I don't know why it's so cold. I've got my heater on. If you want to help pay for my electricity bill, please continue to give me super chats. Thank you very much. Same for right-wing liberals. Sabotage their campaigns in favor of progressives. That's a great idea. I'm literally not even joking. When I eventually run for office, that's going to be a strategy of mine. I'm going to have as many people infiltrate my opponents as possible. And the best thing is I'm a YouTuber, so I could just, like, make a video, and I can just say that. And then, like, everyone's like, what are they going to do? Oh, look, let's see who's Fun Police is going to infiltrate my campaign. I got to watch out for Fun Police. They don't know who the fuck Fun Police is. Right? Blarg is in the chat room. They're saying they're going to infiltrate my campaign. Right? Who the hell is Blarg? Right? So you can just infiltrate and they won't even know. Seriously? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, are y'all gonna back up my eventual political campaigns? This is a great idea. You know, it's been done before, and I'm going to do it again. Yeah, Blarg's gonna fuck some shit up, for sure. Anyway, so, yeah, let's go. So this is a story that is just like, it really just kind of shows how bad capitalism as a concept is. The idea that human beings are not valued for the sheer fact that they are human beings. However, instead, they are valued for the amount of work that they can do for any given company. The people in charge of companies like Tyson, they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about your family. They don't give a shit about your health. They just don't care about anything. All they care about is how many little packs of chicken nuggets you can put in a package or whatever. That's all that they give a shit about. That is not their number one, not their bottom line, but their only line. There is no other line. The health and safety of their employees is not even tracked in any capacity. So here's a lawsuit being filed against Tyson. Managers bet money on how many workers would contract COVID-19. They made a game of it. Not only do they not care about their health and safety of their employees, but they have such little care and regard that they treated them like dogs in a dog fighting ring. Oh, you think Jimmy's gonna get the virus? Jimmy won't last a day. Jimmy will die. I bet $50 on Jimmy getting it. It's ridiculous. Let's read. So, a wrongful death lawsuit tied to the COVID-19 infections in a Waterloo pork processing plant alleges that during the initial stages of the pandemic, Tyson Foods ordered employees to report for work while supervisors privately wagered money on the number of employees who would be sickened by the deadly virus. Earlier this year, the family of the late Isidro Fernandez sued the meatpacking company, alleging Fernandez was exposed to the coronavirus at the Waterloo plant where he worked. The lawsuit alleges Tyson Foods is guilty of a willful and wanton disregard for workplace safety. So here are some of the things that I thought were most shocking that are being alleged in this lawsuit. In mid-April, around the time Black Hawk County Sheriff Tony Thompson visited the plant and reported the working conditions there shook him to the core, plant manager Tom Hart organized a cash buy-in, winner-take-all betting pool for supervisors and managers to wager how many plant employees would test positive for COVID-19. Now, here's something that I want to say, and I want to say this without any balancing act. I want to say this without any sort of like middle ground. Every single manager, even the ones that did not take place in this betting pool, should be sent to prison. Not jail. They should be sent to prison. Now again, I might identify as a prison abolitionist, but we live in a world right now in the year 2020 that has prisons. We live in a world right now where there are so many innocent people in these prisons. I say we funnel some of the innocent people out, throw some of these dirty fucks in there, and then over the next couple of decades, as we get closer to the abolition of prisons, maybe we can let them out at that point after they've learned a lesson or two. I think, again, every single one, even the ones that knew of the betting pool but did not participate, they should all be sent to prison for, I would say, at least 10 years. They are directly responsible for the death of someone else. They are basically, as far as I'm concerned, complicit in murder. John Casey, an upper-level manager at the plant, is alleged to have explicitly directed supervisors to ignore symptoms of COVID, telling them to show up to work even if they were exhibiting symptoms of the virus. Casey reportedly referred to COVID as the glorified flu and told workers not to worry about it because it's not a big deal and everyone is going to get it. Again, this person should be in prison for the rest of their lives. On one occasion, Casey intercepted a sick supervisor who was on his way to be tested and ordered him to get back to work, saying, "We all have symptoms. We got a job to do." After one employee vomited on the production line, managers reportedly allowed the man to continue working and then return to work the next day. And it gets even worse. Tyson paid out $500 thank you bonuses to employees who turned up for every scheduled shift for 3 months, a policy decision that allegedly incentivized sick workers to continue reporting for work. The lawsuit claims that while Tyson had repeatedly claimed that its operations needed to remain open to feed America, the company increased its exports to China by 600% during the first quarter of 2020. So again, all of this, not to feed America, not to keep America stable, but to make money? They murdered people. They murdered their own employees. This isn't wrongful, or this isn't accidental, rather. This is murder. When you say, I don't give a shit if you're sick, when you put money, bounties on people's heads and mock the idea that they will die, and then they die, you are complicit in murder. As far as I'm concerned, every Tyson CEO, every person on the upper management, every corporate director, they should all be sent to prison. Every supervisor for this plant should be sent to prison. Anything less than that, as far as I'm concerned, is some neoliberal cuck shit. These are crimes against humanity, and they all go back to the idea that the President of the United States said germs don't exist. We'll be open by Easter. That's what all of this is predicated upon. If Donald Trump doesn't go to prison for the crimes against humanity that he has committed, my faith in this country, what little faith I have, 0.0001% of faith, will go to absolute zero. Donald Trump is the biggest, most corrupt criminal that has ever done damage on the United States in modern history, in my opinion. It's absolutely disgusting. The leeway. Oh, it's okay that I ignore germs because the president's doing it. And now, like, it's there's so many dead people that are, like, I cannot wrap my mind around it. I really can't. And it's just disgusting. So, that's my thoughts on Tyson. Not to be confused with the Doom speedrunning category. Top Damage Wizard. This slaps pretty hard. Since I just got an email from work wanting me to continue doing dumb shit while I'm currently at home trying to recover from COVID. You have COVID? Oh no. That's no good. At Dusty Scarlick 306. landslide, historic. Speaking of historic, so Tom Cotton, who is currently extremely upset because Donald Trump wants to run again in 2024 and he might have to push his plans back another 4 years, is going on to the Senate floor talking about some bullshit. Now, Ilhan Omar tweeted out, I wanted to just use this quote tweet for my display here. When your sense of history doesn't go beyond your third grade coloring books and actual history terrifies you. I love Ilhan Omar. All right, let's listen to what Tom Cotton has to say.
Honest, and once again, we have much to give thanks for. But this year, we ought to be especially thankful for our ancestors, the Pilgrims, on their 400th anniversary. Their faith, their bravery, their wisdom places them in the American pantheon, alongside the patriots of
Now, again, this Tom Cotton excels in this American mythology, and I say American with 3 Ks. Notice how he uses the word pantheon here. That is a direct assertion of the attempt to mythologize the history of America. This is entirely what this shit is. It is, oh, it doesn't matter what really happened in our history. We just have to pick and choose the winners and put them on some statues, and then that's it. Burn the rest of the books. They don't matter. That's what Tom Cotton's advocating for. Again, the pantheon? What?
Wisdom places them in the American pantheon, alongside the patriots of 1776, the Pilgrims of...
The patriots of 1776, you mean the ones, the rioters and the looters that knocked down statues, melted them into bullets, and threw off all the exports into the harbor? You mean the rioters and looters? They're in the American pantheon? Interesting.
1620 deserve the honor of American founders. Sadly, however, there appear to be few commemorations, parades, or festivals to celebrate the Pilgrims this year. Perhaps in part because revisionist charlatans of the radical left claimed the previous year as America's true founding. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Pilgrims and their compact, like the founders and their declaration, form the true foundation of America. So count me in Coolidge's camp. On this anniversary, a century ago, he proclaimed, "It is our duty and the duty of every true American to reassemble in spirit in the cabin of the Mayflower, rededicate ourselves to the Pilgrims' great work by re-signing and reaffirming the document that has made mankind of all the earth more glorious."
These Pilgrims were dead when the Constitution was written, bro. Come on, man.
Too many may have lost the civilizational self-confidence needed to celebrate the Pilgrims.
Now, here's the thing. If the mythology here is that the Pilgrims came and they were really nice to the Native Americans, right, and they got along, they played some hopscotch, and they ate a nice dinner, and then they all went home, if that's the mythology that you're telling me, that's fine. Let's celebrate that. My only issue is that that's not even true. It's mythology. It's make-believe. Right? There may have been one isolated incident of Thanksgiving where one group of Pilgrims were nice to one group of Native Americans, but that was far from the norm. Now, is it something worth celebrating if it indeed happened as described? Sure. But we cannot kid ourselves and just say, oh yeah, everything else that happened didn't happen. Yeah, we can pick and choose the winners. We can pick and choose the noble patriots of American history if we want to, but that does not mean that we need to ignore the rest of the crimes against humanity that the people have done in the name of America. Right? I just don't understand why Tom Cotton and the fascist right are just so dead set on just denying any crimes of American history. They're all fake in their mind. It's bizarre, right? I am all in favor of, giving thanks to American heroes. Maybe we can have a national holiday for John Brown or something. That sounds great to me. It's just that the heroes that people like Tom Cotton are putting a magnifying glass on, I don't think they're really heroes. We have actual heroes of American history. We should actually start celebrating them for once.
Just today, for instance, the New York Times called this story a myth and a caricature. In the food section, no less.
In the food
Maybe
section?
The politically correct editors of the debunked 1619 Project are now responsible for pumpkin pie recipes.
If I just say debunked, if I tell people it's debunked, they'll actually believe it's debunked. I don't have to explain how it's debunked. I'll just say it's debunked. This guy's a senator, by the way. This isn't like, like someone on a podcast, like just rambling. This is a senator.
The debunked 1619 Project are now responsible for pumpkin pie recipes at the Times as well. But I, for one, still have...
Could you imagine unironically, and I know this might be offensive to some people out there, imagine unironically eating pumpkin pie? Like, that's something that you do. Like, what has to go wrong in your life? What error has to have been made by either you or your parents or someone down the line on your lineage to where you even think about for a second eating a fucking pumpkin-ass pie? Jesus Christ, get therapy?
The pride and confidence of our forebears. So here today, I speak in the spirit of that cabin, and I reaffirm that old compact. As we head into the week of Thanksgiving, I'll be giving thanks this year in particular to our Pilgrim fathers and the timeless lessons they bequeathed to our great nation. For as Coolidge observed, Plymouth Rock does not mark a beginning or an end. It marks a revelation of that which is without beginning and without end. So may God continue to bless this land, and may he bless the memory of the Pilgrims of 1620. I extend my best wishes to you and to your family.
I don't give a shit. I can't. 7 seconds left. I can't. But again, Ilhan Omar summarizes this perfectly. When your sense of history doesn't go beyond your 3rd grade coloring books and actual history terrifies you. Again, I'm all in favor of celebrating American heroes. It's just that the heroes that Tom Cotton wants me to celebrate, I don't think are heroes, right? There's many, many people throughout American history that were awesome and worthy of respect that should have statues. It just so happens that they don't have statues, right? Reminder, again, the rioters and looters of 1776 tore down statues of King George, melted them into bullets, and then shot cops. I want to keep that in mind. Those rioters and looters are mythologized. They're turned into heroes. But the rioters and looters of today, somehow they're evil. What is the difference? Aside from their skin color, of course, you racist motherfuckers. I don't know. It's weird how one set of statue defilers are worshipped and the other set is condemned. It really makes you think. Anyway, that's what I have to say about Tom Cotton. Dumbass hoe. Hello, users. Yeah, Dusty Scarlet is someone who I think is just perpetually, like, maybe they had a bad acid trip like 20 years ago, and like they're just perpetually on acid, like one of those people, like that has their brain turn into mush from doing psychedelic substances. I think that's Dusty Scarlet. Like every time they open and close their eyes, like everything gets blurry and they see Donald. Is that Donald Trump? Is he talking to me? Oh, Lord Donald. Lord Donald. I hope he sees this, bro. You mean Indians? They don't consider themselves Americans? Might as well call them Indian to show the white man's ignorance. I don't necessarily have a take on that. I choose not to speak for what I think indigenous people would want me to say, and just would rather just say what I say. If an indigenous person wants to come to me and say, I don't like being called a Native American, I reject that term, I will accept that. But, at the same time, I don't know if saying Indian, I don't really know what that accomplishes. Like, yeah, sure, the white man's ignorance, but should we, like, do the same thing with black people? Like, what is, like, it's weird here. Like, as white people, should we just all be, like, knuckle-dragging Neanderthals? I mean, I don't know.
All of a sudden, we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
Really makes you think. Well, are you of Indian heritage, I suppose, Bliarg? Because again, I've spoken to many indigenous people that say they want to be called indigenous. I've spoken to many people who say they want to be called Native Americans. I've spoken to many people who say they don't want to be called either and they want to be called by their tribe or whatever. Like, that's fine. That's all well and good. But I don't think that there's a catch-all for this. At least not that I can see. If you want to point me some writings or something that would, extrapolate on that idea, I'd read it for sure. But I have yet to see those writings personally, and there you go. Neanderthal genes exist in Europeans and all Caucasian blood, including myself. Damn fucking right. You see these knuckles? You see these knuckles? Boom. Ow. Fuck. You see those knuckles though? Damn right. Well, I mean, Blearg, I would prefer not to speak on behalf of other people in that regard. If you've got, an article written by someone that you want to cite here, that would be fine. Or if you want to cite your preferred experience. But I think the idea that white people should use stupid terminology to show white ignorance, again, should we apply that same standard to black people? Should we apply that same standard to Chinese immigrants? I mean, yeah, white people as a whole are pretty dumb. With the idea that we should revel in our stupidity, just for the sake of showing how dumb we are, I don't buy that. I'm sorry. I mean, again, I'm not trying to get into a debate here. I'm really not. If you just want to give me an article, I'll read the article. Like, I'm open to this. Like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm in vehement opposition. How dare you suggest that my terminology is anything but perfect? I'm not trying to act like that. But I would like to see more reading or writings on that for sure. But anyway. Hello, Phoenix Rising 87. I think it's a good thing to start amplifying native voices rather than talking over them. I agree with that, for sure. All right, let's go up in next in my news. We got my good friend Bernard, my personal friend. We are friends from way back, and so this is Bernard Sanders. I just want I really, I've watched this clip 15 times, right? And I just want to say, I love the language that Bernie uses. And this might be because, Bernie is, born and raised in New York. Might be that he's Jewish, that I find this fucking way of speaking so good. But I love, the dry sense of humor that Bernard has. It's just great. I love it. This is my shit. So let's listen to Senator Bernard Sanders talk about just what the hell is going on with Republicans. I love it.
You have a Republican Party which has virtually collapsed and become a cult following the whims of a president of the United States. How do you have a party where very few elected Republicans are even prepared to acknowledge Joe Biden's victory? I mean, that's pretty crazy stuff.
That's pretty crazy stuff. I love it. I love it. That's pretty crazy stuff. That's again, this is why I love Bernard so much. It's not because of Medicare for All. It's not because of the Green New Deal. It's not because of any of that dumb, liberal, fucking lefty communist bullshit. I love him because he has such a good fucking sense of humor. It's crazy stuff. Again, I'm sorry, right? But that's just that's the shit that I say, and I just find that to be really endearing. And again, it is crazy stuff. Let's talk about the subject matter. Instead of the, meta-level comedy analysis. But, let's, the entire Republican Party, there's 4 people that have publicly said that Joe Biden won the election. These Republicans, the same ones that won their own election, by the way, how does Lindsey Graham have any, oh, I won my election, but, Joe Biden stole his? What? The only ideologically consistent point of view here would be, oh, the election was fraudulent, let's have a redo. Anything else is noise. Okay, Joe Biden cheated. What are you going to do about it? Recount? Well, if he cheated, what is recounting going to do? Okay, Joe Biden cheated. Okay, the machine switched votes. What are you going to do? Nullify those votes? Why not just have a new election? Why not just have a new election? Why are Republicans so afraid of being bold? Yeah, the election was cheated. Okay, awesome. Let's do another one. Let's do another election. The Dominion voting machines? All right. Let's do another election. Get rid of the Dominion voting machines. Then we'll see what happens. The reason why they don't want to do that, the reason why they're not interested in such a thing, is because they know that they'll lose. They're fully aware of what the reality is. The reality is the only way that they can even pretend to win is by cheating as much as possible, doing exactly what they accuse the opposite side of doing. Why would Democrats cheat to make Joe Biden president and then lose the Senate and lose members in the House? It makes no sense. What counties were cheated? Were that the ones with the voting machine? All right, let them re-vote. Let's do another election. But again, it's pretty crazy stuff, as Bernie Sanders says.
Joe Biden's victory. I mean, that's pretty crazy stuff.
That's pretty crazy stuff. I don't know. There's literally no other grouping of words in the English language that can accurately surmise what the Republican Party is doing, other than it's just pretty crazy stuff. It's pretty fucking crazy stuff. Let me just tell you. And I just love Bernie Sanders. So, throwing that out there. If you're a Bernie hater, we are not the same person. You need to chill. And if you're not a Bernie hater, then welcome to the Superior Intellect Caucus of the left wing of the United States. That's what I gotta say. In regards to this this Indian Native American debate, again, if you want, here's my open offer. If you have any friends that you would think would want to speak on this, they can come on my show. Open invitation. If there's any Indian, Native American, or indigenous person, whichever, right? Feel free. Send me an email. I'll let you have a conversation. I'm willing to be moved on this issue. I just have not seen anything other than non-indigenous people telling me that. So, I'm interested. I'm totally, I'm on board with that. I just would like, I don't have that many. I mean, I have someone in my family. I guess. I mean, here I am citing this person. But they're of Native American descent, and they don't give a shit. I've asked them this question before, and they said they don't care. But they're also 20 years old. So it's, they're just a loser. If I were to talk to their mother, maybe they'd have a different answer. I'm not sure. But Republicans are fucked in the head. The Christian Party praises Trump, who doesn't even go to church or knows how to hold a Bible, hates Biden, who's a devout Christian, religiously goes to church. It's not good. I mean, again, it's crazy stuff. As Bernie Sanders said, it's crazy stuff. It's really crazy stuff. You have a tiny bit of native blood, but since I wasn't raised in the Blackfoot community, I have nothing to say. I mean, you can still provide your opinion, The wrestler Tanka is from the Lumbee tribe in North Carolina. Get him on the show. Just because someone lives in the same state as me does not mean that they're going to come on my program. Didn't stop Elizabeth Warren, that's true. Hey, Elizabeth Warren can self-identify as American Indian for 70 years. I'm going to start self-identifying as Jewish. I get so many people calling me Jewish in my comment section because I've got a Jew nose or some shit. I guess I'm Jewish now. I'm going to start self-IDing as Jewish to get by. I mean, that's great, Phoenix Rising. If you want to come on and give me your perspective or show any other videos, that's also fine. Open invitation. I took class in college and the professor told me Indian is offensive. They say to use Native people or Native American. That's what I've always been told. But, I mean, I'd rather listen to the actual people themselves than what a book tells me, Latinx, no Latinos use that. I know plenty of Latinx people that use the term Latinx. But it's not universal, for sure. I mean, I can draw this line. I don't mind being labeled queer as far as my, identity is concerned. But there are people that would mind being labeled queer that have, like, traumatic, interactions with that terminology. I don't. I mean, I get called a queer on a daily basis on YouTube. But, I mean, like, outside of that, like, I'll proudly call myself a queer. But other people of queer persuasions might not want to. I don't know. I think that in a lot of these situations, there's just not universal language here. I think indigenous is a decent term because it's a catch-all. Like, you can talk about indigenous people in any country. So that's why I would probably use indigenous more often. But whatever. I mean, just because, Latinx people, majority don't use the term Latinx doesn't mean that, there's not a group of people that would proudly call themselves Latinx. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just think that this is a situation where there's not universal language. I would love to go out and meet regular everyday Indians, but there's a pandemic going on, and I don't like leaving my house because it's winter. It's fine if some LGBT folks don't want to be labeled queer. I just hate when people tell me using it makes me self-hating. Yeah, no, that's my thing. It's like, I'm not going to, shit on someone else's self-identity, but I'm also not going to speak on behalf of other people's self-identity. Me personally, you can call me queer all you want. You can call me a queer all you want. It's not really going to change my opinion. But yeah. Right-wingers need to learn from this channel. I've been trying my best. But it hasn't happened yet. Today might be a little bit of a longer show, because I've got, like, a couple more things I want to talk about, and there's no way I'm going to do them in 15 minutes. Why am I deleting comments? I am not deleting comments. Are comments being deleted? I have no idea what's going on. I can tell you that YouTube has a spam filter that I cannot disable. I think I can add words to the spam filter, but I cannot disable certain words in the spam filter. So I can tell you that there are some words that YouTube, if you write a message, YouTube will intercept that message and will say, whoa, buddy, the contents of this message are no bueno, and then they will steal them, like kind of like the police and civil asset forfeiture. Very similar. But I do not delete comments, so. Anyway. So Nancy Pelosi was reelected to become Speaker of the House, right? Oh no, everyone's screaming. Oh no, I hate Nancy Pelosi. Me too. Now, instead of just sitting here and talking about Nancy Pelosi this, Nancy Pelosi that, let's watch this video here of people destroying Nancy Pelosi at a press conference. Now, this is a couple years old, and you'll love to see it. Let's watch. Now, I want everyone to pay attention to Nancy Pelosi and how upset she gets and how much she shakes. She's very not used to people dissenting. She's very not used to her own constituents deciding, you know what, I'm not a fan of your bullshit. So I want everyone to pay attention to Nancy's behavior in this clip. This is a very fun flashback.
Okay, you've asked some questions.
They're just ignoring her. I love it.
Okay. I totally agree with you. But as we fight the fight for the Dreamers, which is our... Do you want to listen or do you just want to shout?
Do you want to listen or do you want to shout? This is the thing. Like, again, This is the thing you need to know, is that Nancy Pelosi is an aristocrat, right? She does not like when the peons and the peasants get out of line. Do you want to listen to what... This is the thing, Nancy Pelosi. These protesters in this context, they don't give a shit what you have to say. What you have to say is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. You're not going to change your mind, right? This is a party problem. This is not necessarily a you problem. This is a party problem. You are useless. They don't care what you have to say, Nancy. And this is what we have to really understand as a society, is these politicians are just people, right? We need to hound them, right? Why aren't people, like, back in the day, during the American Patriot era of the 1770s, we used to throw tomatoes at public officials when they used to say stupid shit. We used to tar and feather people. Now, am I advocating? I don't know. I think throwing a tomato at someone would be considered assault nowadays, so definitely don't do that. But the idea that we can scream at people, that's not assault. If you are a public official, you do not deserve to have privacy. I think that every politician should not be allowed to sleep at night without protesters screaming outside of their house, with megaphones, with LRADs. Get everything you got. Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, these people should not be allowed to sleep any more in their entire lives. That's what my opinion is. So let's watch the rest of this clip. Again, it's great. It's great.
I totally agree with you. But as we fight the fight for the Dreamers, which is our... Do you want to listen or do you just want to shout? Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it.
Going full Karen?
As we fight the fight. You don't...
Look at her shake. Look at her shake.
You don't want any answers. Just stop it now. Just stop it now. Just stop it now. Let's stop it now. Just stop it. Look, I want to tell you something. Why do we do this? Since you don't want to listen. Since you don't want to listen.
This is the problem with Nancy Pelosi. She keeps saying, since you don't want to listen. It's not about them listening to you, dumb bitch. It's about you listening to them. You are the Speaker of the House. You are the Democrats' leader in the House of Representatives. It is not your job to make things up and then preach them to the peasants. It is your job to listen to the peasants and then translate that into legislation. You are not doing your job, Nancy Pelosi. Now, again, this is how I want to talk about the idea that she was reelected to the speakership. She's just a person. People are talking about how the House will do nothing in the next 2 years because of Pelosi. And that, in my opinion, is up to us. Are we just going to let them do that? If Nancy Pelosi couldn't get a good night's sleep for the rest of her life, do you think she would have these same opinions? If she tried to go home and she couldn't sleep because of megaphones, screaming, right, because of like loud bass vibrating her bed, do you think that she would still have these opinions? No. She would break because she's a human, and all humans have a breaking point. It's just that we as a population, I mean, I don't know, she just won re-election, right? Like, so we're not going to vote her out. That decision's been made. We're not going to vote her out. We had a great candidate, Shahid Buttar. Didn't work. So we got to do something else. And I think that this is a blueprint we can get behind. Except instead of being for a press conference, let's make this for the rest of this bitch's life.
If you want to listen, we'll have to just go. You don't want to...
But again, the power ultimately is in the people's hands. There's infinitely more of us than the 435 there are of them. And again, once Nancy gets like a month of getting maybe 1 hour of sleep a night, maybe I think her policy agenda would change. But until then, what are we going to do? Scream on Twitter? Screaming on Twitter doesn't work. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Saying how much you dislike Nancy Pelosi on Twitter, it's cool. It does something, but it's not going to change policy. We need to get thousands of people to follow them around. Same thing with Mitch McConnell. Same thing with all the leaders of both parties. Follow them around. Thousands of people. Thousands. Right? Follow them around with megaphones. Scream at them every single second of every single day. Tar and feather. But in the modern day, that's what we need in this country. That's what I have to say about that. She'd move to one of her other houses. Let's get a group in that other house. That's the thing. It's like we have the internet. Like I should start an organization that like people donate to, that we can fund people. Like if I could like pay for travel and housing for people so they could walk around and follow Nancy Pelosi with a megaphone all day, every day, I would. If I ever make it big, right? If I ever have like thousands of dollars to spare, I will pay someone full time, as many people as I can, full time, to follow around Nancy Pelosi with megaphones. Like, again, when she sleeps, right? At all moments of every day, take shifts. You're going to need at least like 5 people. Take shifts, right? I get the 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. slot with the megaphone screaming at Nancy Pelosi. I get the 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. slot. I get the overnight slot. That's what I think we need. Scoop! Giuliani says the R's are withdrawing their legal action in Michigan as a result of 2 racists trying to withdraw their affirming of the vote in Wayne County. Fun fact, they already ratified it, so it's too late for that. Michigan is a great one, because Michigan was like a blowout. It wasn't even close. Like, they're treating Michigan like it's like, you know? Like, again, it was a blowout. It was not close. Like, Trump got destroyed. Like, I don't know. Like, he got absolutely fucking wrecked. Like, take this shit to Georgia or something, because Michigan ain't it. Maybe Wisconsin, but, like, Michigan's definitely not it. Not good. Not good. Yeah. So I'm just gonna like note this. This is like, you know, we're just throwing this out there. Just throwing this out there. But if you aren't paying attention to Bitcoin right now, let's get a 1-day chart up here. So actually, let's get a 1-week chart. So when the coronavirus happened, Bitcoin went all the way down to $3,000. And now it is approaching its all-time high. Like, I literally, as I'm reporting to you right now, like, Bitcoin is higher than it has been in 3 years. So I'm not sure how many people that follow me are into the crypto space. But big stuff is happening in the crypto space. Throwing that out there. For those of you that don't know, the all-time high was about $19,500. That was about 3 years ago. And it's very close to that. The castle did not pay up. The castle blocked me on everything, Mr. Freak. Could you imagine? For those of you that don't know, I made a bet with someone that they would give me cryptocurrency if Biden or anyone at this point, when we made the bet, the primaries were still happening. But their bet was, they bet me 1,000 Steam tokens, which is worth about $400 in United States currency, that Trump would win, 2020 landslide. And when I asked them to pay up, they blocked me on everything. So throwing that out there. But I'm involved in crypto. Again, it was $3,782 during the coronavirus. You know, when that happened in February and March. If you look at it, it went from $10,000 to $3,700. Now it's back up at 18. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you're involved in crypto and you forgot about it, if you've got some Bitcoins laying around but you don't pay attention, maybe now is the time to withdraw. So, throwing that out there. If anyone actually, I shouldn't do this on stream. Brian Carr, I got to get new batteries for my megaphone. How much money do we need to do this? Because what? To harass politicians every day? I don't know. It's just a full-time job, I suppose. We would need, I guess, 3 or 4 full-time positions. If it were to work, it would need to be every single day. right? Like, if you, like, only do it, like, 3 times a week or something, it'll be a mild annoyance, but it's not going to work. If Nancy Pelosi runs 5 weeks with no sleep, then we can start getting somewhere. So, I don't know, like, fucking $20 an hour? For? I don't know, maybe you could ignore some of the daytime hours. That's possible. You could ignore some daytime hours. Like, do you really need to be harassing Nancy Pelosi from like 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.? Not really. I mean, like, other people are probably going to do that in Congress, right? So, but at the same time, you also want to make sure she doesn't have a chance to like sneak a nap or something. You know what I mean? Like, spam the office with phone calls, right? Like, do is literally like make sure that this bitch cannot get sleep. She can't get a power nap, right? You just can't do it. So, I mean, I would do this. If someone wants to fund me to travel to Washington, D.C. or whatever, if someone wants to fund me, I'll do this. Like, I'm willing to do this. Imagine, like, Above It All live from the steps of the fucking congressional halls, where as I have my megaphone and it's just me yelling at Nancy Pelosi and that's the full show. I'll do this. If you want to pay me, I'll do it. I'll do multiple shifts a day. I like if you want it to be minimalist, you would need like at least 2 people, right? At least 2 people. But I'm willing to publicly harass Nancy Pelosi every single day. If someone wants to fund that, let's talk. Yeah, so this is one other thing I'm going to talk about, and this is going to be like my ending segment. So, the title of this show is I Don't Care What Right-Wingers Think About Me. That's the title for this broadcast. And I wanted to extrapolate on what I mean by that. And just throwing this out there, but this is all extemporaneous. I don't really write notes. Maybe I should, right? But I mean, I don't. I get a lot of right-wingers that come to my channel, and they love writing, like, essays about how Trump is the real president and how Biden is, the fake president. I have right-wingers that tell me to kill myself. I have right-wingers that post my old address in the chat and in comment sections saying that they're going to come get me. Newsflash for you, I don't live there anymore. You're going to have to update your docs information. But, I get death threats. I get right-wingers trying to have conversations with me. If you look at my channel, I indulge. I feed the trolls. I have debated dozens of right-wingers, from generic Republican-style old-school conservatives to neo-fascists who got me on the phone and then said they wanted to kill me and that they were going to kill me. I've debated them all. You can go watch the videos on my channel. I do not run away from a debate. However, I just want this to be understood. There is nothing you can do. As a right-winger, there is nothing you can do that would upset me. I have been swatted, okay? I have had police break into my home and attack my family because of you people. If you think that you calling me a tranny in a comment is going to offend me, if you think that that's going to move the needle in any capacity, I've got news for you. That's not going to happen. Now, if you want to debate me, if you want to have a conversation, feel free to ask me. Like, hey, we disagree. I think you're a tranny, commie bastard, and I want to murder you, but let's have a conversation. I'm willing to have a conversation with literally anybody about any political subject. Okay? So I want that to be understood. Now, again, I wanted to make this video as a little bit of a PSA, because again, there's these people that comment on every single one of my videos. Some of them are in the live stream chat right now. I don't give a flying fuck about your arguments. I also want to say, if you are writing in my comment section more than 1 or 2 sentences, I don't read your comments. If you see me reply to your comment with something like cry more or cope, it's because I didn't read your comment and I don't care. Now, this is something that I need to be very clear about. Again, I'm willing to debate anybody. Anybody. Right? But I know that the right is not interested in debate, because every time I get right-wingers on to debate them, One of my most recent ones was with a right-winger named Primitive Archer. They were spamming my channel for weeks, and they kept saying, debate me. I was like, okay, let's debate. And I get them on there, and 20 minutes into the debate, they say that they want anyone that they disagree with to go to prison. And I asked them to clarify, and they said, yes, if you support Democrats, you should go to prison. Now, again, they're a fascist. That's all understood. When I debate right-wingers, I don't debate them to change their mind. I would love to change their mind. If they did change their mind, that would be amazing, but that's not my goal. When I debate right-wingers, if you want to come onto my show and on my platform, you are coming on to be publicly humiliated. That is your purpose. Now, if you understand that purpose and you still want to debate me, let's do it. Let's go, right? But I am not debating you. I'll say I'll debate you in good faith, but I know you won't debate me in good faith. And I just want to say that I'm perfectly cognizant of the idea that you're not debating me in good faith. I know all the strategies, okay? I've been on the internet for a long time. A lot of people that I know are right-wingers. A lot of some of my friends that I used to communicate with 10 years ago turned out to be right-wing fascists, okay? I know the mentality of the person that you are, you right-winger, and I can say it does not affect me in the slightest. Okay, so I just wanted to be very explicit about that. A lot of people, a lot of right-wingers, they come at me and say that I'm afraid of their idea. I'm not afraid of you. If you want to debate me, the offer's open. My email, Andrea@speed.dog. You can send me a debate invitation literally whenever you want. I am willing to have anybody on my platform for any reason. Now, again, I'm not going to do it right that minute. Right? Like my time, and I'm going to say this explicitly, my time is more valuable than yours. That is factual, okay? If you can only debate me at 3 in the morning, we're not going to debate. I'm sorry. I'm asleep. If you can only debate me at like 9 p.m., because that's when you get off of your real job, I'm sorry. That's my bedtime. I'm not going to debate you. But if you want to debate me at any point where I'm awake and I'm aware of what's going on, that is to say where I'm not smoking weed all day, and if you want to debate me when I am smoking weed all day, I'm fine with that too. But my point is, I will not run away from any debate. I want that to be crystal clear. Now again, am I going to get a flurry of right-wingers coming into me? I know I'm going to get at least 50 dislikes on this video over the course of a couple weeks. I'm sure that's going to happen. I know I'm going to get so many people call me a tranny, dumb fucking commie, right, in the comment section. But how many debate requests am I going to get? My guess is going to be 1 at best, because these people are afraid, they are cowards, and they are beta males. They don't know how to actually have an exchange of ideas. That's why, again, I debated a right-winger a couple of weeks ago, and then all it took was 20 minutes, and they said that anyone that disagrees with them should go to prison, and they meant it. I asked them to clarify, I followed up, and they meant it entirely, that you can go watch the video, Primitive Archer, look it up, like on my channel. It doesn't take long for right-wingers to crack, and they know that, and that's why they don't come onto these debates. But I just wanted to be explicitly clear, because I do have a lot of conservatives that follow me. I do not care about what you have to say. I do not care about your conspiracy theories. They will not move me. Nothing you say matters. However, if you want to scream on a platform and publicly humiliate yourself for the rest of your life, that's fine with me. That's completely acceptable, and I will 1000% enable you to do that. If you want to ruin your potential future employment opportunities by coming on my show and saying that like black people are evil and rioters should be shot, feel free. You know me at. You know where you can find me again. But I just want to say, like, that doesn't affect me. I don't care. You are all the same. I don't read any of the comments that you post. If I reply to you, the only reason that I reply to right-wingers is, and I'm just going to be explicit here, if I reply to you, especially right-wingers, they know they're going to reply back, right? So I reply to them, and they reply back. And when they reply back, what do? They reload my video in order to reply. Now, a lot of right-wingers are old. A lot of right-wingers that follow me are boomers. They use tablets. They use cell phones. They use browsers without ad block enabled. If I respond to right-wingers in the YouTube comment section and they continue to harass me every other comment, I'm going to rake in a lot of ad revenue from that. That is the only reason I respond to right-wingers. Again, I don't read half the shit you say. If I tell you to cope or if I tell you to cry, it's because I don't give a shit and I didn't read what you have to say. And if you respond to me, all you're doing is giving me more money. You've got ad block disabled. I don't care. You're giving more views. You're making my videos appear higher in the algorithms. You're in net supporting my channel, making it so that I can pay my rent. I can pay my bills, all based on YouTube ad revenue and income. That's something I've never been able to do up until last month. And I can thank the right-wingers for that, for falling into all of my traps. So I just want to say that. I want to be explicit, and I'm going to upload this as a separate segment. Okay? If you want to come on and embarrass yourself, you're more than welcome. If you want to continue calling me a tranny in the comment section every day, you're more than welcome. As long as you show up, you want to dislike the video? Awesome. Dislike it. You want to post it on 4chan? Feel free. Because at the end of the day, all I do is make money. There's no such thing as bad publicity as far as I'm concerned. And especially not when it comes to right-wingers. Okay? I don't care what they have to say to me. If they want to debate, they can debate. But other than that, all you are is a cog in my machine. That's right, in the communist machine. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good one. So that's my little segment. This is why I don't click on right-wing videos. I don't want to give them money. Exactly. But yeah, I just wanted to be very clear. I'm going to upload that as another segment. They'll probably get a couple hundred views, 50 dislikes. Whatever. I don't give a shit. That's my thing. I don't care. Like, I've been on this platform for 10 years, okay? I used to use 4chan, very frequently when I was a teenager, right? I know the behavioral impulses of these people. I know how they act. It means nothing to me, okay? It literally, I don't care. I don't care. I used to use 4chan mostly for hentai, cotton balls, in case you're curious, but sometimes I would peruse other boards as well. Fun Police. Andrea, the first time I found you was the video of shooting in Austin. Glad I found you. Thank you for that. Sad that it has to be on unfortunate circumstances, but, what are you gonna do? Commies never want to debate. Whatever you want to convince yourself of, Dusty Scarlet, whatever you want to convince yourself of. Hey, it's easier for you to sleep at night if you think that I don't want to debate you. It's not that you're running away from my debate. No. I don't want to debate you. I'll debate people that tell me to kill myself. I'll debate people that will say my address on audio, but I won't debate Dusty Scarlet because I'm just so scared. That's correct. You cracked the code, and you're right. I won't debate you, Dusty Scarlet. You are extremely horrifying for me, and I'm scared of you. Again, oh, you called me on Discord, Jesus Christ. Again, we will debate at my convenience. I don't want to debate you right now, right? If you want to debate, let's set it up. Do you want to do tomorrow at 11:30? I'm down for tomorrow at 11:30. If you're not, then we can maybe deal with it. But you're on my time. This is my channel. You're on my time. I'm a vet and a communist who's ready to debate those cowards. Hell yeah. I wasn't prepared for the new EBMS intro. The music that I used for my intro and outro is from the PS1 game Gubble, also known as Goober. The track that I've been using primarily is Supanova, S-U-P-A-N-O-V-A. I decided to mix it up a little bit, and this morning I used a combination of Nebula, N-E-B-U-L-A, and Supanova. And I might actually do a similar thing this time. Let me see what other songs there are in the Gubble soundtrack. Let's see if there's any more good ones. I know that there's a couple really good ones that I could use. How about this one? Hell yes. Hell yes. Everybody, you hear that? You hear that? That's the sound of the show being over. Thank you for watching.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room. And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television, and he's like,
bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
Get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Not good. Believe me, not good. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, not good. Believe me, not good.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad, I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Though, it's definitely not me. It's definitely not me. I think it's everybody else.
All of a sudden we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. All people. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good, maybe in the history of politics. Presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? Whole life, what am I going to do? Whole life, what am I going to do? Whole life, what am I going to do?
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting?
Well, it was an amazing phone call. And 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan. And it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.